Okay. This is section 1.2, placement strategies. So, in section 1.1, we're confronted with a picture um, that on the left hand side you have statements that are true statements, right? And on the right hand side you have facts about the world. And if you have true statements, it corresponds to one of the facts on the right hand side, right? So every true statement on the left hand side corresponds to one of the facts in the world, right? So we can then ask for the coordinality, right? Like if you look at how many, look at the statements on the left hand side and you look at all the facts on the right hand side. One basic question we can ask is, do they all match? Is there a correspondence between each statement on the left hand side to one of the statements on the right hand side? Is there a mapping between the two sets, right? So you have set of statements and you have a set of facts. Is there a mapping between the two? And so you can imagine some circumstances where on the left hand side you have more statements, and on the right hand side you have less facts, right? So you have more statements than facts. So what happens? Or what if you have more facts than statements? What happens? What if there is precisely the same number of statements as facts? Well, what happens, right? So these are the three scenarios that we can ask about this picture, this mental picture, right? So you think about the set of statements as the set S, and the set of facts as a set F, right? So we can so section 1.2 is so you can think about the set of statements as representing S prime, and let an F prime be the set of facts. And so you can ask, what is the coordinality of each? So the word coordinality is just, the number of elements of each set, right? If two sets have the same coordinality, then potentially there is a mapping between the two sets. But suppose that one set has, greater number, then a precise mapping might not do, right? Because, you could have one element in S1, S prime, mapping to two elements or more in F prime. So there are a couple options, that hinge on this question of the size of the different sets, S prime and F prime. So one solution is that there is a one-to-one mapping. So there is a one-to-one mapping where each statement in S prime corresponds to each statement in F prime. So this is a one-to-one mapping. It's a non-trivial mapping between S prime and F prime. And for this field, we have reductionism, or the Canberry plan, right? So this is what the author. This is, of course, I'm not gonna go too deeply onto the Canberry plan, but it's something that you could Google or ask the AI about. So in the first field is that there is non-trivial way to reduce or introduce statements or facts in S prime or F prime such that the coordinality between S prime and F prime is identical. There is a one-to-one mapping between the two sets, and this is reductionism. So why do they use the word reductionism? I'm thinking is that maybe, let's say, S prime there's a lot of statements, and whereas F prime there's much less facts. That means that there might be a creative way to reduce some of these statements to one single statement, right? So so two statements that we typically think of as different ultimately is really about encapsulated in one single statement. So that is how I can imagine you could reduce the statement numbers in S prime, so that they S prime and F prime have the same coordinality, right? And I guess this is a non-trivial way to do it. So, but the number one, reductionism is definitely not the thing that this paper is emphasizing on. So, as such, I'm not gonna talk more about it. The second option is F prime is undercount. Um, F prime is undercount. So, in reality, the true set of facts is actually greater than, you know, the supposed set of facts that we know, like F prime. So, so this possibility again is not something that is covered too much in this paper, but we could, in a brief, talk a little bit about it. So maybe, so the second view is the idea that, okay, so we're given this set of facts called F prime, and maybe in reality the set of facts is actually much more expansive and much more broader than what we know as facts. Like, yeah. So one there, in the second option, there are two possibilities, right? Two options, and one option is that there are these natural facts that we know, right? Which is, F prime, but there is there is these other natural facts that we don't know yet, but maybe in the future we know them. So in this picture, all there is are natural facts, but the natural facts that we know now, it is limited, and that, there are still a bunch of natural facts that we don't know, and but this picture conveys an ontology where all facts is just identical to natural facts, right? There are natural facts that we recognize by our sciences, and then there is a broader set of natural facts that we don't know, and potentially we will never know, but they are still part of the natural world, and they are, cumulatively speaking, collectively speaking, they are all part of what we call natural facts. So this is position 2.1. Second position is to think of, well, maybe when we think about all facts as being just natural facts, well, that might be too limited. Maybe there are non-natural facts. So, as I understand it, E.G. Mord proposed something called non-natural facts, namely, for example, like moral facts about the world, like moral facts about goodness, right? I think E.G. Mord proposed that goodness is a type of non-natural fact. So you could have, so in this ontology, natural facts doesn't exhaust all facts. In fact, all facts is really it is really a union of natural facts as well as non-natural facts. So you can have natural facts like E equals to mc squared. You can have facts about chemistry, biology, geology, the sciences, right? And then you have non-natural facts such as facts about morality, facts about what the good, facts about how we should treat people, like normative facts. Okay, so this is position 2. This is 2.2, and I think the author also give his own little take on this. The author says propose something called the Wittgensteinian proposal, and I think he's trying to I think he's not really elaborating too deeply on this. He's just presenting these two ideas out there, but he's saying that in he favors the Wittgensteinian proposal, where he tries to explain these additional facts, be it natural facts or non-natural facts, using a Wittgensteinian proposal, where maybe these additional facts is explained by creative language games. Now, this is again not a field that is too much elaborated, so you can read up a little bit on this Wittgensteinian proposal. Now, let's move on to the meat of section 1.2, which is position 3. S prime is overcount. So in reality, the true set of statements is much less than S prime. So the coordinate of the true set of statements is smaller than the set of statements that appear to us. So S prime is overcount. So in this position, there are substantially less statements that needs truth maker. By the way, the truth maker is basically facts, right? So the traditional way of thinking about truth maker is that they are facts that makes a statement true. So so truth maker, like so snow is white, right? The world, snow is white is about the world, right? Namely, the color of snow is what makes statements like the snow is white statement, true. Within this, the third option, where the set of statements is substantially less than what appears to us, there are 3 options. Option 1 is eliminativism. So eliminativism is a large subclass of true statements or false. In this case, for example, like there is so you have statements on the left hand side and you have facts on the right hand side, right? And eliminativism is gonna say that, well, these additional statements on the left hand side, well, they are just all false, and that's as it suggests, the name eliminativism is kind of, you want to eliminate these junk, right? They are all false. And that's just it. To give an example, take for example that if there are no moral facts, so suppose that on the right hand side, some people think that there are no moral facts. If there are actually no moral facts, then all statements that reference moral facts has to be false. So this is an example of how this system will work, right? It's like, if there are no moral facts, then all the statements, or judgments about moral facts or appeal to moral facts has to be false. So that's eliminativism for you, right? The second position to take is called fictionalism. So section 3.2. So in this way of thinking, it's a large subclass of true statements are false, but they are useful fiction. So maybe a better way to say is that a bunch of these junk here, these additional statements, they are literally false, but they are still useful fictions. They are still like true in this kind of useful fiction kind of way. Like, for example, let's say if I say Harry Potter is a 12-year-old boy, this is literally false because there is no Harry Potter, right? There is no magic. But there is a sense in which Harry Potter is a 12-year-old boy and knows magic is true, in a sense that it's true in the context of a fictional work by some real world author. So in a fictionless way of thinking, so these statements are literally false, but they are true in a quantified sense that they are useful fictions. Um, so yeah, so fictionalism, these additional junk, they are literally false, but they are still, you know, useful. Yeah. And the third perspective of how to explain this junk here is um, expressivism, right? Is to say that a large subclass of these true statements are not genuine statements at all. They are neither true or false. They are utterances or pseudo statements. So this way of thinking about it would be that these statements here that we take to be true statements, they are actually not statements. They are kind of like utterances, or they are not capable of being. They are not even things, entities that are capable of being true or false. Take for example when I say "ouch" or I feel like etc etc. I feel like that person, like ice cream is better than. I feel like ice cream is. I feel like vanilla ice cream is the best ice cream out there, right? This statement that I just made is an utterances or a pseudo statement. It's not really true or false because it's like really my own feeling about certain things, right? So this is expressivism. So expressivism is to say that these additional, junk here, it's not really statements that is capable of being true or false. They are utterances like "ouch" um, or "oh, this is I love vanilla ice cream is the best ice cream." This. All right. Thank you.